Hello, welcome to our student project at Darmstadt University of Applied Sciences. The goal of our project was to implement a digital twin of the high-bay storage station of the Autobab Smart Factory in Siemens NX MCD software and to validate the digital twin with a virtual commissioning using PLC Sim Advanced. The first part of the project is to isolate the high-bay storage system from the whole model. In order to isolate this high-bay storage, we'll delete all the non-required parts. After deleting all the non-required parts, we had to make adjustment in the two parts of the high-bay storage system. The first part was in the racks. In the model given, we had 6 racks, but in the actual high-bay storage system, we had only 4 racks. So we had to delete these 2 racks. In order to delete the racks, we go to the part and we select the parts we need to delete. Here there are 6 boards and all of them are packed into one board. So we can right click the part and select unpack here, which will reveal all the parts, and we can delete whichever is not required. And the another edit is in the 3-axis robot system. The gripper part of the 3-axis robot, as we can see here, is not aligned properly. We had to move this prong 2 millimeters to the right side and this prong 2 millimeters to the left side so that it can pick up the shuttle easily. Also in the 3-axis robot, we needed to adjust the axis positions and the coordinate system. To do that, we select the 3-axis robot and open it in a window. As we can see here, the coordinate system is not aligned with the X, Y and Z axis of the robot. In order to move the coordinate system and to rotate it, select the coordinate system, double clicking on it, and you can rotate it by selecting this point, and you can type in how much you need to rotate, or you can just drag it. And to move the coordinate system, go to the origin and drag and drop wherever required. After aligning the origin, we needed to move the X, Y and Z axis to the 0th position. So in order to move the parts, first we need to apply some constraint so that if we move this axis, this will be attached to this. So we'll select assembly constraints in the assembly section and we'll apply touch constraints to the railing and to the inner groove. Like this, the touch constraint is applied for all 3 axes between the railing and groove of this part and also of this part. This makes sure when we move one of the axes, other moves with it. After aligning all the 3 axes, we need to move the axes to the 0th position so that the axis match with the real one. The x-axis is moved 812 mm to this side, and the y-axis had to be moved 212.493 mm to the down, and the z-axis had to be moved 41.4 mm upwards. After doing all the movements, our 3-axis robot is ready. After that, we need to provide physics and kinematics to the model. To do that, first we need to provide rigid bodies to the required parts. We'll only provide rigid body to the parts which will be moving in the simulation or which will be interacting with one another. For example, this part doesn't move or interact with any other part. So we will not be giving rigid body to this part. But our 3-axis robot or shuttle and our rack will be moving or interacting. So we need to provide these parts with rigid bodies. Also, we need to provide collision body to the parts which touch one another in the simulation. For example, the relay plate will be touching the shuttle. Also, the relay plate will be touching the fork and the rack. So we need to provide these three parts with the collision bodies. While providing collision body, we need to select only the faces which will be interacting. For example, the down part of the shuttle, the back part, the bottom part, and the side parts. Also, we need to select the appropriate collision shape in order to minimize the effort on the simulation. After providing rigid bodies and collision bodies, we need to fix all the rigid bodies so that it won't fall while simulation. The rigid bodies are fixed in the air or to each other. The 3-axis robot has 3 moving parts, so we need to provide 3 sliding joints. One for the x-axis, one for the y-axis, and one for the z-axis. The x-axis sliding joint is given between these two parts. The y-axis sliding joint is given between these two parts. The z-axis sliding joint is given between these two parts. To control the sliding joint positions, we give 3 position controls, one to each axis. The gripper part of the 3-axis robot has 2 sensors. The first sensor senses if there is any object on the fork. The second sensor senses if there is anything on the rack or the shuttle. In order to simulate these sensors, we create 2 collision sensors. The first collision sensor is given to the fork itself. And for the second collision sensor, we create a block by selecting block command in the mechanical concept part. And we can provide this block with a collision body and then define it as a collision sensor. We can hide this block in the part navigator section. After creating rigid bodies, collision bodies, fixed joints, sliding joints, and position control, we'll create some signals. We'll receive 3 float signals with the X location, Y location, and Z location, which we can input to the position controls. Also, we'll receive 3 Boolean signals: pickup signal to indicate the start of pickup operation, drop signal to indicate the start of drop operation, and ground position signal, which indicates the 3-axis robot to move into a ground position. The MCD in return sends 3 output signals after the completion of each operation: picked up after the completion of pickup operation, dropped after the completion of drop operation, and a ground position reached signal. We also create 2 signals which we'll be using in the MCD operations. And the last signal is sim start bit, which we make high whenever we start the simulation. For the pickup and drop operation, just the X, Y, Z locations are not enough, as the robot performs certain maneuvers. Like while picking up, the robot has to go under the plate in order to pick it up. And while at the drop operation, robot has to go above the rack in order to check if there is any plate already present at the rack. These maneuvers are performed by C-motion software in the real AutoFab process. But here in MCD, we need to simulate these processes. To simulate the C-motion software, we are using a combination of expression blocks and operating sequences. In order to make the robot go under the shuttle or go above the rack, we need to add or subtract some values. So we will create three expression blocks to add or subtract the values from the X, Y, Z locations. Also, these operations have to be performed in a sequence, like the Z-axis has to extend only when the X-axis is reached its position and the Y-axis has gone under the shuttle. So we will need to check the position of the position control. So we'll create these expressions. These expressions check if the position control has reached a particular location. The ground check if the X, Y, Z locations of the position control are at ground position. X reached checks if the X axis position control has reached a particular X signal. Similarly, Y-1 expression checks if the robot is ready to pick up the plate. Y equals to 32 expression checks if the robot is above the rack in order to check if there is any plate on the rack. Y reached checks if Y axis has reached particular location. Z at 0 expression block checks if the Z axis is retracted. Z at 222 checks if the Z axis is extended. We'll see how to create one of these expressions. In order to create the expression blocks, we'll go to the mechanical section of MCD and drag down. We'll find an expression block here. Here we can create a description, some input signals, output signals, and some expressions. Now we'll have a look at an example expression. Here we have created 4 inputs. This is a Y-axis input, a pickup, a drop plate, and a ground position, and an output and 2 parameters. The input signals are mapped with the corresponding signals. The Y-axis input is mapped with the Y signal, pickup is mapped with the pickup signal, drop is mapped with the drop, and ground position is mapped with the ground position. The output is mapped with the position control. We have 2 parameters, one for the value which needs to be added to the Y-axis, and another is a fixed Y ground position. Now we can write a formula for the output. The formula goes like this. If pickup or drop bit is high, then add Y-axis input with the difference. Else, if the ground bit is high, then provide the Y-axis with the Y ground position. Else, keep the Y-axis at 0. Similarly, we can check the other expression type. Here, we are checking if the Y-axis has reached a certain location with some tolerance. Then we are making the output bit true, else false. These expression blocks are used in an operating sequence. Here we have created 2 operating sequences, one for the pickup operation and another for the drop operation. The 2 signals created earlier are being used here. The pickup working signal will be made high when pickup operation is entered, and a drop working is made high when the drop operation is entered, and the both bits are cleared when exiting the operation. We'll have a look at an example operation. Here we have selected y addition expression block as a physical object. We are adding the -1 to the y position to make it go under the plate. We are giving two conditions. One, to check if x has reached its position, and another to check if z-axis is retracted. So the operating sequence goes like this. First, we will make the z-axis to retract. Second, we will make the y-axis to go under the plate. So third, we make the z-axis to extend. Then we'll raise the y-axis by 32 mm. Then we'll retract the z-axis. Then we'll make a picked up signal high to indicate the completion of pickup operation. Then we'll make it false to make the picked up bit as a pulse. Similarly, the drop sequence is also formed. Then these sequences are made to run one after the other by connecting them. Now we need to map the signals with the corresponding PLC signals, for which we'll select signal mapping in the automation section. For the signal mapping, we have to have the PLC Sim Advanced running with a simulated PLC which is having all these signals. So we'll select the signals from the MCD side and a corresponding signal in the PLC side, and we'll click map signal. If the names are similar, we can even click auto mapping. Then we'll select OK. Now we are ready for the simulation. Thank you for watching.